Your greatest weakness isn't your darkness. It's your refusal to use it. Let me begin with what I would like to call the lie of purity, or the trap of being good. You were trained to amputate parts of yourself, not physically, but psychologically. From the moment you could speak, you were handed a script. Be kind, be patient, be humble, be safe. And everything that didn't fit that script, your anger, your envy, your hunger for power, was quietly buried alive. But here's the truth no one tells you. What you bury doesn't die. It waits. According to Owning Your Own Shadow, the shadow is everything you refuse to acknowledge within yourself. Not just your darkness, but also your raw, untamed power. And the more good you try to be, the more pressure builds on the other side, like a psychological seesaw. Every act of forced kindness is counterbalanced by suppressed resentment. Every attempt at perfection creates an equal and opposite chaos. This is why the nice guy explodes, why the disciplined leader secretly self-sabotages, why the person who avoids conflict eventually becomes consumed by it. You don't become powerful by eliminating your darkness. You become dangerous by ignoring it. Because what you refuse to own will eventually own you. Your shadow doesn't disappear. It leaks in passive aggression, in burnout, in sudden rage, in quiet envy disguised as indifference. The real tragedy? You've been taught to fear the very traits that could set you free. Aggression, ruthlessness, pride. Not as flaws, but as raw, unrefined fuel. And until you stop trying to be pure, you'll never be powerful.
Now let us examine closely the gold hidden in your darkness. Here's where everything flips. Your shadow is not just the dumping ground for your worst traits. It's also where your unused greatness lives, buried, waiting. As Owning Your Own Shadow reveals, the shadow doesn't just contain what is bad, it also contains what is too powerful to fit into your identity. Think about that. The same place you hid your anger is where your assertiveness is trapped. The same place you buried your jealousy is where your ambition is suffocating. The same place you suppressed your pride is where your self-worth is waiting to rise. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your unclaimed territory. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people would rather admit they are broken than accept that they are powerful. Because power demands responsibility. Power isolates. Power disrupts relationships. Power forces you to outgrow who you've been. So instead, you stay small. You call your hesitation humility. You call your fear contentment. You call your lack of action peace. But deep down, you know. There's a version of you, more aggressive, more decisive, more unapologetic. And you're afraid of becoming them. Because once you do, you can't go back to pretending you're harmless. And harmless people don't win.
So what happens when you stop running? When you turn around and face it? You don't become chaotic, you become precise. Because the goal isn't to unleash your darkness blindly, it's to integrate it consciously. There's a difference. Uncontrolled shadow creates destruction. Integrated shadow creates dominance. The same aggression that ruins relationships can become the backbone of leadership. The same ruthlessness that feels immoral can become your ability to make hard decisions without hesitation. The same pride that isolates you can become unshakable self-respect, but only if you own it, not publicly, internally. You don't need to act out your darkness, you need to acknowledge and direct it. As described in Owning Your Own Shadow, when shadow energy is ignored, it erupts uncontrollably. But when consciously recognized, it can be expressed in symbolic or controlled ways. This is the difference between a person who explodes and a person who chooses when to strike, a person who resents silently and a person who sets boundaries instantly, a person who envies others and a person who channels that envy into execution. You don't eliminate darkness, you give it a job. You make your aggression protect your time. You make your ruthlessness cut distractions. You make your pride refuse mediocrity. That's how you transform chaos into strategy. That's how you turn volatility into control. That's how you stop being a victim of your nature and become the architect of it.
At the highest level, this isn't about success. It's about sovereignty. Most people are not in control of themselves. They are reaction machines, triggered, manipulated, predictable, because they've outsourced parts of their psyche they refuse to face. But when you integrate your shadow, something rare happens. You become whole, and a whole person is extremely difficult to control. You're no longer nice out of fear. You choose when to be kind. You're no longer passive. You choose when to be silent. You're no longer reactive. You choose when to act. Nothing leaks. Nothing surprises you. No hidden rage, no unconscious sabotage, no unexplained fear, because you've already met those parts of yourself and claimed them. This is what Owning Your Own Shadow calls the movement toward wholeness, the integration of both light and dark into a conscious center. This is where true power lives, not in pretending to be good, but in knowing exactly how dangerous you could be and choosing precision instead of chaos. This is psychological sovereignty, and once you reach it, you stop chasing success, because success becomes a byproduct of a person who is finally fully themselves.
If this conversation gave you something to think about, a new perspective, or even a small sense of clarity, then this channel is for you. Consider joining this growing community by subscribing and leave a like on the video so more people searching for answers can find these ideas too. Your support keeps these conversations alive. Until the next video, keep reflecting, keep growing, and keep pondering life's journeys.